Good morning, everyone. I want to apologize for being just a minute late. We're having some technical issues here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to get things going and share my screen. Thank you all for joining us today. I see a lot of folks that are coming back from our first webinar that we had on partial Roth conversions and Roth conversions. And today we're going to be talking with Kevin over at Allianz, and he's going to be joining us in just a moment. Looks like he's trying to get back on again. But Kevin, are you there yet? Nope, not yet. I see he's trying. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today, like I said, is kind of a part two to the webinar I had a week or so ago with Allianz and partial conversions and full conversions, and how Allianz is a great player in that role and helping bring those solutions and worrying about taxes and such with folks out there. Not a lot of people are talking about this with their clients, which makes us and you the experts. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I do see some folks that are new that I don't recognize their names. So for those of you that have heard, already working with IAMS and know about us, this will be a little bit of a nice fresh reminder for you. And for those that are new, I want to welcome you to the IAMS family and show you a few perks that you get working with us here at IAMS. So right out of the gate, when you contract with IAMS, we have a new producer builder bonus kind of structure, you might say. So the first 6 months that you are contracted with us, whatever premium here listed or beyond this, we're going to show you our appreciation with starting to write your business with us here at IAMS by giving you a producer builder bonus. And that could be a number of things. We are known for our customer service. We are known for our marketing skills and our creative department, which we'll get into in just a moment. But the best thing is that we'll customize this program for you. So, if you hit the $100,000 mark and $750 in cash really isn't going to float your boat, you'd rather have maybe business cards or something else would be more beneficial to you. We are awesome at thinking outside the box and really creating a custom design for you. So, there's the $250,000 level, $500,000 level, $750,000 and $1 million. Obviously, the bigger the number, the more perks you would get. It could be rebuilding your website. It could be completely rebranding your social media. It could be any of those things. So be creative. We'll be creative with you, and let us know if you have any questions on that. Also, we like referrals. It's the best compliment you can get, just like you like referrals. So we're gonna put some money and cash back in your pocket for that. We have a referral producer program. So $50 right out of the gate bonus when you refer an agent that contracts. $100 when the referral writes their first piece of business. And then you get the override that comes out of IAMS pocket. It doesn't come out of the referrals pocket. It doesn't come out of the carrier's pocket. It comes directly from IAMS. So we're going to give you a little bit of an override with any life or indexed annuity, SPL, MYGA business that they write as well. If you have any questions on this, definitely holler and give us a call and we'll be happy to go over it with you. Next, definitely work smarter, not harder. That's we get ourselves wrapped up with busy work, case follow-up work, illustrations, all of that jazz. Best thing I can say is use our back office support. When I was an agent years ago, I tell you, I wish I had, an IMO like IAMS to help me with my business. I would have loved the fact that they help me with the illustrations. They help me with my applications, make sure that I have all the right paperwork, help me with the e-app, help me with scrubbing the application before it goes back to the client or goes back to the carrier, so I don't have to go back to the client 100 times for updated signatures or dates or whatnot. Our back office is phenomenal at that. For those of you that are already working with IAMS, I'm sure you can, vouch for that. We get so many compliments. I can't speak more highly of our staff on that. So I appreciate them, and you would appreciate them too once you start using them as well. Next, I want to encourage everybody to register and get on our IAMS website. Our website is very easy to use and easy to navigate around. You get excellent sales tools. There's term quoters. There's annuity grids, sales resource library that just has a ton of information that you can utilize, presentations, one pagers, things like that for your access. So if you haven't checked out our IAMS website, you are definitely missing out. I would encourage you to go to www.imsinc.com, get registered, get familiar, mess around with that. And if you ever need a walkthrough or want any of us to, help you navigate through it, we'd be happy to give that to you as well. On our website, we have Firelight. Firelight is one of the best tools in the industry to do e-applications. So we utilize them for several carriers. There's probably carriers that we have on there that aren't listed in this flyer that we have. But if you ever have a question on Firelight, definitely let me know. I'd be happy to walk you through those as well. Next, I want to talk about our creative marketing solutions. Our creative team is a team I love to brag about. They really do customize. When I say customize, I mean, when you talk and work with IAMS, you don't want to just look at marketing ideas, throw in whatever against the wall and see what sticks. We literally take the time to talk to you, customize around you and your practice, the way you like doing things, and throw out suggestions that you may not have thought about. So using our creative marketing solutions, those guys are phenomenal about helping us build those reports and throw out suggestions that would be of benefit to you and growing your business. Next, working with IAMS, once you start writing some business with us, we do have some qualifications for this, but we do provide the retirement analyzer program to our agents that are, again, writing with us. There is a cost to this that IAMS takes over for you, so you don't have to spend a dime on it. We're just going to provide this program for you, but it's a nice simplified program that helps you show your clients where their retirement shortages, tax consequences, and great looking spreadsheets, very professional. So we definitely have access to this that we provide for our contracted agents that are writing business. Next, I want to make sure everybody is well aware of our IAMS Wealth Management team. Years ago, Charles and Steve decided that, we want to make sure that we're providing everything that we can for our agents, including those that are either registered or non-registered in the securities aspect of the business, and make sure that we have a source of a resource for you on that end too. Now, I'm going to point out a couple things here. One is, excuse me, working with IAMS Wealth Management. If you are not registered and you have a client that, that would be a best fit for, maybe be in a security or something like that, but you're nervous about referring him to advisor, George next door because you don't want George to take over the rest of the assets or the accounts that you could have possibly written. That happens all the time. Our industry, I hate to say it, can be a doggy world. So what we have here is you can refer that client to us here on our wealth management team. We'll take good care of them. If you do decide to get registered down the road, guess what we do? We will transfer that client back to you. So this is the safest way you can keep that client, in the safety of your own backyard. Another thing is we have programs to help you get registered, help you get licensed, all sorts of things. So if you would like more information on this, I'm going to draw a quick poll here. Let me know. I just launched it. And I'll be sure that our IAMS Wealth Management team, it'll be probably Scott or Zach or Mike or one of our guys back there that'll be happy to assist you there. So it looks like most of you have voted. I'll give another couple seconds here. Awesome. I'm going to close that. Looks like everybody voted, so I appreciate that. Moving on, because I want to make sure we have plenty of time for Kevin, but want to chat a little bit about our top producer summit. Now we're pulling out all the stops for this one, folks. So this is going to be a qualification period that goes all the way to next year, June 30th of 2022. You need 4.5 million points to qualify, but we are taking you on a exclusive Mediterranean cruise. You can see all the stops that we're hitting. You're going to be in Rome, Italy, Capri, Sicily, Greece, just to name a few, and end up in Venice. So these are going to be August 28th through September 4th. You can definitely take a look at more information on this if you'd like on our website. Again, our website has everything on it. But yeah, if you have any questions on this trip or qualifications on this, don't hesitate to let me know. Next, I want to touch a little bit on our Life and Annuity Academy. We just had this the end of September in Des Moines. We look like we're hoping to do another one in the spring, but this is a 2-day all expense training period that we fly you out. We pay for everything, your meals, your drinks, your travel, your stay, all of it is on our dime. And, you're going to be rubbing elbows with other top producers in the country, hearing from some of the best in the country, get advanced sales tips. So this is definitely something that we get a long line of requests for. If you would like to get registered for the next Annuity Academy, feel free to go onto our website and you can go ahead and register. So when that happens, again, hopefully it'll be early spring. We'll have your name already on the registration list and we'll be able to consider you as one of our agents, and we'll talk you through that as well. If you have any other questions or where to register, just let us know. Next, before I hand it over to Kevin, I want to chat with you guys a little bit about our Facebook and LinkedIn. We have a lot of great information on those pages for you to like or share with your clients, ideas, strategies. One of them would be this Roth conversion, partial Roth conversion that we're going to talk with Kevin about, and some of the products that they have that will help you make those things happen. But definitely check us out on Facebook, LinkedIn, and take advantage of that information. Next, I am, hold on, I'm going to try to get Kevin on.
Can you hear me all right? I'm on with you guys.
Oh, Kevin, there you are. I thought I had you muted.
Tech issues.
No problem.
No, so I'm going to go ahead and screen share it. It's not giving me the option to share my screen. Is there a certain place you need to go to?
I'm doing that right now.
Okay, perfect. And good morning to everybody on the call, by the way. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for coming.
All right, can
And
you
Kevin,
see that all right? I have the...
Yeah, I
Go ahead.
didn't give you a proper introduction. And we were having some technical difficulties this morning. So if you want to just kind of, give them a little background on yourself with Allianz, and then we'll pick up on part 2.
Yeah, that sounds good. So I've been with Allianz about 5.5 years now. Started with the inbound line and just kind of worked my way up from there. And now I'm officially in a hybrid wholesaler role, doing a lot of virtual meetings like this, and then also doing some traveling on the side. So they treat us well over here, and I've been fortunate to be with the company for such a long time. And I know Patrick was on the other week, my director of sales. So he's been with the company about 6-7 years now, and I've been fortunate to partner with him for a long time. So I was excited when he asked me to join. What I want to dive into today, as was mentioned, was the Roth conversions. I want to talk about index lock, and then maybe follow up a little bit more on product in case there's some specific questions. Let me just get right into the Roth conversion side of things then. As was mentioned already, we do allow the partial Roth conversions. This sales idea, and I bring this up because it's client friendly, and it's not going to show the partials on here, but I'm going to walk you through how that works. Let's start with this piece, and then we'll jump into that. So in this case, for a Roth conversion idea, there's a couple advantages and disadvantages to why a Roth conversion and why now. Over on the left, it's going to talk about the tax-free distributions. You get to take control of the taxes that you're going to pay by paying them now or pretty quickly. And you're never going to have to pay taxes again after it's converted, and you're at least 59.5. The disadvantages, though, is obviously you have the tax bill up front. Clients are probably going to be a little skeptical with it at first, but then when you look at, all right, well, what do you think is going to happen with taxes in the next 5 to 10 years? A lot of people say they're probably going to go up. There's just a lot of expenses and overhead right now in our country. So, how else are we going to do that? Either spend less or raise taxes. And unfortunately, we're not very good at spending less. So that's kind of the thought. And again, taking control of that feature right now. So the example they give us down here is with Lee. He's currently 58, and he's planning to retire at 65. So he's having this conversation with his advisor saying, you know what are we going to do about taxes? Because obviously it's going to be ordinary income tax. If I leave it as an IRA, I pay it over time. Is there another option? And they look at some numbers, and I'm just going to keep scrolling here. What this example is showing is Lee's in the 24% tax bracket today. And let's pretend that stays consistent for the next 30 years. That never changes. In this first example, what it's showing is either I can pay essentially a lump sum of $24,000 as my tax burden, or I can wait. And if I assume a 3% growth every year until he hits 85, what is the difference in taxes paid? Well, once again, we could pay $24,000 right now or pretty soon with the partials, or if we paid over time, and by the time he hits 85, again with just a 3% growth, he's paying about $63,491 in taxes. So again, it goes back to how much do you want to pay? When do you want to pay it? Well, in this case, with the brackets never changing, almost triple what he could be saving on. But if brackets do go up, this number could go up in 100,000, 150,000. So just be aware of that. The other big point, especially with like an ABC product or a 222, that protected income value or income base is available as a death benefit. And if we do the conversion, the beneficiaries get to take that. I know it's over 5 or more years, but it's tax-free. So if you think about it from that side of things, even if they're not taking an income, we could still convert and set up our beneficiaries with tax-free income from that, and that way they don't have to pay it, because most of the time those beneficiaries are probably in their working years still, right? So they don't want to pile on another 100, 150,000, let's say, on top of what they're making and jump up to the highest tax bracket there is. So that's just another angle to look at it from. I want to show the other two examples. This one's down below is actually just showing zero growth, and they put this in here for compliance reasoning, but same scenario where we need to pay the $24,000 now. With my product, in this case, the ABC has zero growth, no movement at all. We stay in the same tax bracket. We still end up paying about $23,789. So just shy of that 24. But again, we feel like these products are going to perform. We feel pretty comfortable your client can get index returns through things like index lock, which we'll touch on. This scenario is probably not going to happen. We're at least going to see some growth happen. And the third one, this is more for a client that's still a little bit hesitant on the annuity plan. Same scenario with the 24%, but they keep it in the IRA. They don't want to move it. Well, that's fine, but again, you're paying taxes over time, and you actually do end up running out of money after age 79. So in this scenario, you don't have the guaranteed lifetime income. Now you may be looking for another income source, and it could disrupt retirement a little bit more. So this just really proves the reasoning for FIAs, and again, why Roth conversions have been such a hot topic. So I just want to pause there for a second. Is there any questions on the call? I know there's a chat box. Otherwise, we can definitely open it up at the end too.
Yep. Feel free to write your questions, and Kevin's cool if I interrupt him. And, we want this to be an interacting webinar. So if you have any questions, go ahead and jot them down there, and I'll let Kevin know, and we can get those answered for you right away. At this time, Kevin, I don't have any questions.
Perfect. So I'm going to go back up to that first scenario then, and just touch on the partial Roth conversion. So we converted all at once. Allianz is one of few companies that allows the full or the partial conversion. The rule of thumb is you have to convert at least 20,000 at a time, and you have to leave at least 20,000 behind in that IRA. So when that partial happens, it basically peels off that exact mirrored product, but now it's a Roth. So the surrender charges don't change, the bonus structure and the rates, all that stuff are the same. It's literally us just applying a new policy number to that converted money because the IRS wants us to code it in some way. So after the first one, let's say you have 40,000 in the traditional and you have a 20,000 peeled off Roth. You can convert the other two times whenever you'd like to or the client likes to, and eventually get that all over to Roth IRAs. Now, yes, the question is, am I going to have a few different policy numbers? Yes. The unique thing on the back end, though, especially with an ABC, so you have a couple different Roth conversions, a couple different policy numbers. They're all under the same umbrella. So you can actually trigger the income on one of those or all of those if you'd like. And again, with the ABC having that 250% crediting bonus, we could leave a couple of them in that accelerated benefit, and the other ones we just turn the income on and start taking tax-free income off of those. I don't think I touched on this yet, but the rule with getting it to tax-free is the client has to have a Roth IRA open for at least 5 years. So that could be with us, or maybe it was an account they opened at, TD Ameritrade years back. Either one of those starts that clock. But even if they didn't have that and they needed income year 3, the gains do come out first off of there. So there's still a window of time that before you'd hit that, being taxed, eventually you're going to hit that 5 years and be totally fine. That's a conversation we can take offline, but just a heads up. So 5 years or more and being 59.5 is really the two rules with that. So with
And
that
Kevin,
said,
you're
again,
gonna touch base a little bit about how, the surrender period, is also, a huge benefit that's not starting over when we're layering these
yes, I
contracts,
did
right?
mention that it doesn't restart anything. The surrender period stays the exact same. The bonus stays the exact same, the rates, all that good stuff. So really it's just a mirrored image of what they have. And again, think of it as all of these policy numbers are in under one umbrella. So there's just more flexibility in the back end since there's a couple different policy numbers. A little bit more paperwork, but it's advantageous for the client knowing that they don't have to pull together in lumps and do the whole lump sum right now. They can split it up. What I would highly recommend though is have that client pay for the Roth conversions, whether it's the full or partial, have them pay the taxes from an outside account. The reason I say that is because some people trying to use the free withdrawals to cover it. But firsthand experience, I've seen agents that have done that, and unfortunately the tax amount was above that free withdrawal available. So not only did that client pay taxes up front, they also get hit with a surrender charge on that money that was over. So that's a situation we want to avoid. And that's why I always say, if you can, use a checking, savings, brokerage account to cover that tax bill. One, it saves you from that situation, and two, it allows you to leave that full chunk of money within the product.
Right. I do have a question in here. So, a gentleman that's wondering if it's more beneficial to use the ABC over the 222, or what are your thoughts on that?
It's a great question, and it's always up for interpretation. I would say if they're looking for anything income, I'm heavily leaning towards the ABC. 222 is great. I mean, I know it's flashy right now with the 25% bonus. The key difference is the wait time. So the 222, you have to wait 10 or more years before you can start that lifetime income. And if that fits their needs, great. Whereas the ABC, we can do these conversions and get that income started pretty quickly. Again, the ABC allows for income right away, or we allow month anniversaries. So that's really the big difference in what the client needs.
Perfect.
I will say that all of our products allow this, so it's not like one does it better than the other. They do it the same. It's just a matter of which product better fits that client's needs for either the income or it's accumulation. Maybe it's a legacy play. So that's kind of where that conversation goes. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the index lock story. And this is something that has been one of our hottest topics along with Roth conversions lately. The reason being is just because the crediting now, we're giving you and your client control over those returns. Before, you had to wait from point A to point B, and hopefully between those two start and end dates, the index was up and we saw a positive return. Well, unfortunately, the last few years, it's been kind of volatile. If you hit in a bad month, you might see a lower return, even a zero that you weren't expecting just because the market had a drop. And we've seen it even up till today, whether it's a tweet, an article coming out, the market just shakes around. And this is a way to help, smooth some of that out and avoid taking a lower return or even a zero than we're expecting through this index lock feature. A couple of points. Yeah.
Kevin, if you don't mind, I want to just launch a quick question before we jump into the product aspect, and because there's really two parts to this webinar today, folks. One is, using that partial Roth or full Roth conversion idea, and then the other one, we're going to go into this lock feature so you have a good understanding of how that works as well and how that can be a benefit. But I'm launching a quick poll here. I call it being the tax savings hero. So if you have any particular clients in mind to discuss, we can always grab Kevin after this or later on this week or whatnot to talk about the opportunities and if that client would be a good fit for this strategy. Go ahead and answer yes or no here. If you've got some folks in mind that you're thinking that are already in your book of business or prospects you're talking to, we can definitely have a one-on-one discussion on that. So I just want to make sure I throw this poll out so we can get those folks taken care of as well. Sorry to interrupt you, Kevin.
No, it's all good. I want this to be interactive, so feel free to keep throwing questions at me. I'm happy to back up if I'm going too fast or anything like that. But I'll just give it a minute while we're waiting on that poll.
Thank you. Looks like we got quite a few folks that have some clients in mind. So that's good. I love sharing the strategy with everyone. It's just setting yourself aside from the guy next door, going after the same prospect, and you're the one that has the tax saving strategy idea that no one else is talking to them about is pretty cool. Looks like we got most people that have voted, so I'm going to go ahead and close the poll and hand it back to you.
Perfect. The other thing I'll mention too, this isn't just for new business, new products. If you had 222 business or like the annuities you've written years back, the Roth conversion stuff still applies there as well. So even some of those clients that maybe didn't have the discussion yet, but they've been with you for a while, maybe in the next anniversary meeting, check in, float it by them, see what they think. They've probably heard about it in some way, shape, or form from a friend over the news, whatever it may be about taxes. So it's definitely something to bring up with your current clients as well. So diving into index lock, and again, this one isn't product specific either. This is an overview that applies to all of our products on the shelf now. This is allowing, again, for you and your client to take back control over the returns and make sure that we're either protecting the interest return we've seen so far, or we're locking in what we see right now, and that way we know that we're getting that return on the next contract anniversary. A couple things I'll point out to track this index lock stuff. I know it seems super complicated at first. Bear with me. There's a lot of things that we've done to make it as easy as possible to manage. This can all be tracked and viewed online. You and the client can can both log in and see where are we at today with our volatility index and what's the return right now. And you can see that daily if you wanted, and you can track those values through the website. We update those daily. And again, at the bottom, talks about minimizing the midterm market volatility. So a quick highlight on the majority of our product shelf has these different allocations. I know there's a lot to look at here, but let me just break it down quickly. We've had the monthly sum caps in the top left, the annual point-to-point caps and spreads for a long time. 2 years ago, we introduced the 1 and 2 year participation rates down in the bottom right. Those apply to the Bloomberg, the PIMCO, and the BlackRock index. Each one of those has a 1 year par rate or a 2 year par rate. Those 6 are the ones that offer index lock. So the other ones out here, yes, I agree there's some room for spreads to be used. I'm kind of staying away from caps these days, to be honest. I feel like caps across the industry have been lower than what clients are probably accustomed to, and the upside just isn't there anymore. So why not move into something with a little bit more risk, a little more upside with the participation rates, or even just the spreads. But again, the participation rates have the index lock capability. And so moving into what this looks like when you log on the website. So if I used a 1 year participation rate or a 2 year, I go onto the website. It might look like this on the far right. The white box you're seeing, 3.9%, doesn't have a specific name with it. Let's just say that's my 2 year, and the 5.77, that's a 1 year we're going to lock in today, for example. We have two options to do this, and I have another sales piece that I'll pull up that kind of identify this a little bit better. But you can either do a manual lock-in. So basically, you're hitting lock today, whatever that index closes at market close, that's what you're getting on that specific participation rate. So in this case, I hit lock today, it's going to end somewhere around 5.77. The other option is to use the target setting or auto lock. And that's a newer feature that was introduced in May of this year. You can now just go in and set an upper target or a lower target around what we're seeing for growth so far. And that way, if it crosses one of those parameters, it would automatically lock in for the client. Now, I get a lot of questions on that. Do I have to use both of those? Nope. You can actually just use the upper target side. So basically name your own cap, or you can just use the lower target, kind of like a stop loss. And that's one of my favorite ways to use it. Any questions or comments out there on this before I go over to the sales idea?
No, that's a pretty awesome feature.
Okay. One other thing I should point out, I almost forgot. So what's the average we've been seeing the last 2 years since this has been launched? Well, the average locked-in credit's been about 6.4%. That's a really nice story to be having right now. Again, if we're using an ABC or 222, we still have a crediting bonus applied on top of that figure. This right now, the average credit's the accumulation value. So remember that with those products specifically. But I mean, that's when actuaries look at 3 to 5, 4 to 6% as an average in these annuity products in general. Seeing that we're already above that average at 6.4, and hopefully continue to climb, that's been a really cool story for us. So let's bring up the, again, client-facing sales idea with this, because I know clients are going to be wondering how this operates. It kind of starts off talking about how studies we've done, about 74% of Americans believe that markets are going to continue to be volatile. And that just kind of feeds right into this story of having that control of, if I feel like the markets are going to go down for a while, maybe I'd hit the lock or set a lower target or something to protect what I'm seeing. And we'll go through both examples again. So when I start out this conversation again, this was the annuity of the past. I wait from point A to point B. There's some volatility in between there. In this case, we end on a high note, so everything's good. The client got a positive return. But if we had a volatility happen and all of a sudden we ended at a zero, completely different conversation with that client. And I'm guessing that they're going to say, well, I thought we were going to get 3%. Fortunately, it didn't happen because the market had that volatility happen towards the end. So scrolling down, this is showing the manual lock-in again. So with Gavin, he could lock in on one of these points if he wanted. If we felt like this is a nice return, I'm getting what I need out of it, I'm basically going to step away from the table and take the return. And that's what I'll get the next anniversary. And then we'll open it back up and do the same thing again. So again, this is both on the 1-year par rate and the 2-year. And you can mix and match those together. And when you do these lock-ins or target setting, it's per par rate used. So if you have 3 or 4 different participation rates used, each one of those has its own different lock-in feature, own different target setting. So you might just lock in one of them today and leave the other couple to ride and see what they can do.
This is a great way for you to help your client diversify as well, all in one contract. So, I mean, it gives the client a lot of different options to be able to have some different strategies within their portfolio. So that's another thing I like about this lock feature.
That's a great point. And I get questions all the time, what's the best par rate to use? Well, I would use a mix of them. Like last year, our Bloomberg index did the best. This year it's been PIMCO. BlackRock's been in the mix, but hasn't been the number one yet. So a mix of all 3 of them, or at least 2 of them, is definitely the way to go in case one outperforms the other based on what the markets are doing. A quick highlight on auto lock again. If this is a better way to picture it, basically the index has done, in this case, almost 110 so far, and we want to kind of protect what we've seen or put a collar on it basically. So we can use the lower target or the upper target or both. Again, my favorite way to do this is just go and set the lower target like a 0.5% or % below what you're seeing. And if the index continues to take off, well, I get to take advantage of all that growth, and I can go back in and move that lower target up behind it. So again, even though I set a lower target today and the index goes up more, I can scoot that up behind it and protect what I have so far. And we've seen a lot of success with it. I mean, I've seen some 10+% targets, lower targets put in, and the index continues to climb these days, and they continue adjusting as it works, and nice returns out of it. Happy clients leads to good referrals.
Absolutely. And I'll be sending a follow-up email also in our office, sending you guys with some of these handouts, the client approved stuff that you'll be able to utilize as well. So I know I have a couple questions from you guys wanting this material, and we'll definitely get that out to you.
Perfect. Is there any other questions on the par rates in general? Is there any questions out there you want to throw in the chat box while I have this up?
No, looks like a lot of folks want a copy of this brochure.
Okay, perfect. So that was kind of my angle and what Patrick wanted me to discuss today. Was there anything, I know we got some time left, that I can dive into that'd be helpful on this call?
I think you covered it. We had a lot of, there was a lot of folks that were interested in this lock feature. in our first webinar with Patrick on the part 1 for the Roth conversions. But I don't see any other questions in our question box. Also, folks, I'll be following up with all of you guys individually as well to see if there's anything else you needed besides the email and the handouts that I'm sending over to you probably later this afternoon, as well as, are we allowed to send a copy of this webinar, Kevin?
You know, I can't really say yes to that, but you know, I'm offline, so whatever you guys want to do with it, go ahead.
All right. So, well, so we'll double check on that and make sure that we're following compliance. But yeah, if there's anything else, any other questions, throw those in the box right now. I'm going to launch my last poll here. This poll, you know, if you're interested in getting contracted with IAMS, you know, with all the perks that you get working with us from the previous slides, I went over this morning, or with Allianz, we can certainly get you rolling with that as well. So there's a quick poll there to make sure I'm getting everybody what they need. And Kevin, is there any other feedback that you have? You know, getting a lot of compliments on your presentation here in the chat box. So folks, I really appreciate that. Sure, Kevin does too. But any other like questions that usually come out, Kevin, with these presentations that you might want to maybe touch on when we're waiting for this poll?
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate all the kind words out there. The biggest question I think I'm getting lately is, well, how do I manage this index lock? I have, you know, a bunch of clients that I use these par rates. Do you expect them to look at this every day? The answer is really no. I mean, it's what works best for you in your office. You know, I have offices that they have a designated person in there that checks it, you know, Monday morning, for example, and goes and looks at their index lock report. That's off the website. I wish I could pull one up right now, but I can't for compliance reasons. Basically, when you log in under your account tab, and then we can go through this on an individual basis too, but there's an index lock report. It's basically filtering down what you want to see. It pulls all of your clients using a participation rate that have index lock capability. And you could say, I only want to see people that are doing 3% and above. And it'll give you those contract numbers, the clients' names and everything, and what they're currently doing. And you can actually download a report from there and get it over to your staff or have them make those calls. I would start by focusing on the top ones, you know, your top 10 highest returners. Make sure that they're aware of it. You know, don't hesitate to ask for a referral either while you're making that call. But don't feel like this is overwhelming. It's just an option to protect what's there if we need to. And what we started doing actually is sending out a bi-weekly report on Mondays. One just went out this week actually. So any clients that you have that are over 5% with a 1-year par rate, or over 10% with a 2-year, you would have gotten an email from me saying, hey, reviewed your book, check out these clients. And it gives you an opportunity to go in and have that conversation or do some lock-in stuff if you want. So there's a lot of different things we're trying to do to make it easier. We know you guys have a lot on your plate from day to day, meeting with clients, you know, trying to close business, deal with, you know, clients that are on the books already with different paperwork, and we just want to make sure this fits in appropriately.
Perfect. Well, looks like we're ahead of schedule here. So I want to again thank everybody for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and close that poll now. Looks like everybody's responded, so I appreciate that as well. Kevin, as always, I appreciate your time, you know, and, you know, going over these strategies and the lock provisions and all of that we have available with Allianz. And with that, I'll be following up with everybody. Kevin, I'll call you after this and we'll go over some of the items that we can shoot out to these folks for their handouts as well.
Hey, that sounds like a plan. Thank you again for having me on, and hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day.
Yep. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much.